Hi guys, I didn't see you there. Hopefully you guys are hearing us alright. We've been mucking around with our microphones again. Ben here from Second Dynasty. It is of course Friday, which means we're doing the Friday show where we do things mostly in 3D. We make 3D printable spaceships. For the last, since the start of the year we've had the license for the Traveller role-playing game, and so we've been focusing on Traveller themed products this year. And actually coming up in less than 4 weeks, we're going to have a brand new Kickstarter featuring some tactical miniatures for use with that game or others in two scales. One being 1 to approximately 270, which is a common scale used in the X-Wing game. And also like a tactical size that will fit a 1-inch hex. I have a couple of these things in the scene in front of me. Just turn on some lighting to get some contrast in there. And you can see we have been busy on the sidelines. We of course have also been delivering for our most recent Kickstarter. We apologize, we have a print in the background, and apparently AlBen's microphone is really good at picking things up. We discovered that the volume on his microphone too was like about half the volume of mine, which is why he might have sounded quite distant last time. Hopefully the audio is better, although we think maybe you're hearing quite a bit of the printer noise in the background as well. So let us know how that is sounding today. Nice to see you, Jay Slattery, and I see a couple of other names that are familiar, Craig in particular. So yeah, this week has been an interesting week. The most interesting thing I feel is the fact that now AlBen is working here 100%.
Woo!
So that is a positive thing. Well, you do have some prior commitments, but his official contract started today, so he's no longer a consultant.
No.
He is employed at Second Dynasty.
Yay!
We have been very busy too, getting a lot of the stretch goals out to you guys. We're going to show you some cargo today from AlBen. He has been working on some really cool cargo actually that is a little bigger than what you'll be able to fit into your Type S. And I have been working on partitions, of course. So I should probably also have a different Maya scene. So let's just, we want to go to Traveller 1, and then we want to go to Type S stretch goals. And let's see, this is the one. So this scene is a mess. We're looking at Autodesk Maya. Our heads are unfortunately covering a little bit of what's going on here. This is quite the mess, as you may notice. I'll be explaining shortly what the partitions are all about, but if you guys were on the Discord, you would have seen that there are quite a few pieces. And in fact, I might just really quickly go into our catalog of STL files and Type S stretch goals, and we want to go into the partitions, and you guys will be able to see. Actually, I don't think I've got. No, I don't have any previews. You need to click on them. We do have. I should move this over slightly. We do have some previews available here, but unfortunately not actual icons. So the partitions are a bunch of new rooms for the Type S. For anyone joining us that doesn't have any clue what we're talking about, our last crowdfunding campaign was for the Type S, which is this ship here. And this is our Type S right next to Ian Stead's version of the Type S. Ours is slightly bigger, but the main difference is we built a Type S not at 1 to 270 scale. We built it at 1 to 59 scale, which is 28 millimeters. So we have a bunch of miniatures and things for that as well. Hey Craig, I see you responding. And that blasted summer flange as well, our regulars. So yeah, we are in the process of delivering the last stretch goals we promised for that campaign, which is still open. Not on. We're not adding new stretch goals at the moment, but on mymanufactory.com you can still see that campaign. Maybe I can link to it. Really should kind of make AlBen like an admin so he can do stuff like this.
Yay!
Let's see. External link. That's the settings one. Oh, there we go. Copy link address. Funny that. The type S here was actually it's been dealt up into 3 pieces, but it was actually built using deck designers tools. So John and I have been syncing on that. We're actually working on another ship that I could probably just import to test out this theory. You guys might have seen that our last Kickstarter, the previous one, we had the Sleipnir, but if you saw this in detail, I can get it close to the camera, but you can see it looks blurry. That's not the camera, that's just the shitty process that we used to make miniatures. That was 10 times faster than doing it by hand, but didn't give you the best of results. Like, it's perfectly fine if you've got the tactical scale, which is like this big, but for the actual higher detailed 270 version, not so great. So if I go and import, I feel a sneeze coming on. We're gonna have to get out of this project altogether and get into Starship 5. So well organized, and we will import this STL that John generated. This isn't quite to scale yet. I just randomly rescaled it, but you can kind of see like the details that it's kept on the outside. I think it did have some issues with the airlock, he said, but yeah, we're working on this. I closed off, a lot of these holes and things. We'd probably do the same thing as we did before, where we just cut a line through the bottom there to give the best sort of printing results. And yeah, I'm quite pleased with how things are looking so far. Speed wise, we're going to work on it a bit more. This actually probably is almost to scale, thinking about it. It might be slightly larger in reality. But yeah, some of these ships are of surprising size and scale. So these are based on the deck plans. We have first a subsidized liner, which is quite a big ship, and the second longest of the ones that were done. Then of course we have the Type A Free Trader Beowulf. This one we will eventually be building into a physical model, no doubt. Well, depending on how well this next campaign goes, but I'm pretty sure we're going to do this one anyway, because it feels like if we do have to leave the Traveller license. Hey, what happened to my turrets? There should be more of these. Anyway, if we do have to leave the Traveller license, because it doesn't make as much sense as making our own original designs, it would be nice to leave it on a high note with, say, like the Beowulf, but a lot of people reckon that that's going to be more interesting for people. Then we have the Broadsword. I think it's the Type C? I can't remember. But yes, this big boy looks beastly on the table. We're going to get these painted on Monday, the FDM ones. We're going to try and do some SLA ones as well, but we're trying to perfect the techniques we're using. Then of course we have the Type P. This is the Varga Corsair, and it came out quite nicely. I'm printing an alternative version of the front, but you guys can see, and this bend is because I haven't got it properly working at the moment, and unfortunately I can't make my camera go bigger. I can make AlBen's go bigger, so I could give it to him. But I'll wait until the new front is out before we do that, I think. So yeah, we've prototyped all of these. We have the miniature Type S, we have the Type S, so we're doing both versions, and I'll probably make my Type S available as a free to print miniature to get an idea about the quality. Then we have the Type Is it the M or CE? I can't remember. But this is the Gazelle, and she is a ship I've fallen in love with. And size-wise, it's not that bad. In fact, it's a lot smaller than... It doesn't... The scale doesn't feel right somehow. It just doesn't. But, apparently that's it. So, it does have like a cockpit, I guess, so... yeah, it's a nice ship. We don't have its gig on it at the moment. But yeah, it was supposed to be comparable in size to the Sleipnir. We don't officially have these as traveler ships at the moment, so this would probably be like about, well, I know it's supposed to be like 48 meters, I think. So we can actually just real quickly get the grid going. We can create a measure tool.
Got the question here from the Blasted Camouflage. With multiple sections to these ships, does that mean you might consider stretch goals for this Kickstarter? Or will these be one and done, stretch goals being more ships?
I think we'll probably do a combination of launching new ships. So I've talked to Ian about this, and he has somewhere in the vicinity of 40 vehicles. And we were originally looking at doing 12 ships to start. The 12 featured on in T5's book 2. There's a page with like 12 different ships on it, all lined up, and we thought that would be a perfect thing to do. But we ended up voting for just doing 7 to start with because it took a fair bit more time. So let's see, 48 meters. Let's see, divide by 270. That gives us 17.77. So I don't know if you guys can see this. 17.77. So this should be this big. So if I move this about... Yeah, this is already almost perfectly to scale somehow. And I'll put it to about there. So yeah. That's how big the Sleipnir would be if it was on its side. That doesn't feel right. I guess so. Is that type S wrong? Maybe? Is that what's wrong?
Good question.
What is...
But I mean, the other type S is kind of the similar size.
I guess these are sort of like pushing back on the backside. In any case, we'll look into that. But yeah, hopefully what we're going to do as stretch goals are additional ships. But when there are variants, like having, I think doing a version with a gig underneath would be a cool thing to do. Something that could maybe clip on. The only issue is like the center of support there is actually right where you'd probably want to be putting the gig. So I'll never get used to saying gig. But in any case. AlBen, what are you doing?
What am I doing?
Hang on a minute. I need to actually call you up.
Yeah, I tried to call you earlier, but
I ignored you. Yes. All right. I will call you.
Let's see now.
And you may share your screen, and I will share it with our compatriots on the interwebs.
There we go.
Did you remember to put it in streamer mode?
It is in streamer mode.
Alright.
This is very strange though. Why is it selecting both of them?
In any case, I can now see your screen.
Nice.
And so can our audience.
Oh no, you poor bastards. That's weird. Anyway, so
what are we looking at?
We are looking at here is a lot of stuff. I'm going to minimize a few things here as well. So let's see now. So I've been looking at assorted cargo containers, and they are coming basically in 3 sizes when you look at the Traveler wiki. I've been looking at the Traveler wiki at least. So there's like class 4A to D So they are like different dimensions. It's like 3 by 3 by 3, 3 by 3 by 6, and 3 by 3 by 12 meters. So if you look at these ones here, for example, they would be looking something like this. And the way I'm thinking here is I'm trying to make things modular as usual, and have done different detailing that are you can put them on different positions, and then combine it down and net fab it basically, so you can have variations on the containers. And I've made lids for them with like I'm not sure what you call it, but it's like toothed clips.
Yeah, just teeth.
That will hold the lids in place. They are not stacking really though. I haven't made it.
I mean, you can stack them on top of each other, but
Yeah.
they won't lock together.
Exactly.
But
There
that's
isn't
not really. Is that what you're looking for, Craig, or just the ability that you can stably put them on top of each other?
we will see, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing is that there are a few different ways that these containers work. If you look at the wiki, there are like 00 class, which is basically just a container, a basic container, and they would have. There are so many different parts here. Gosh darn it!
Welcome to my world.
Yeah, the world of 3D. This one, for example. So it's like it's supposed to have 2 doors, basically, and just be a metal box that you can stuff things in. And then there are like versions where you can remove the lid, or don't have a top. But I'm thinking just remove the lid from this one, so it functions as the both of those classes. And then there are like sealable containers, and that's what I'm thinking here. So I got some illustrations from Craig, really good illustrations, and I used to try and make my own interpretation of them. So they were like from Mega Traveler originally, I think. So there is like this version where you have just a sealable, and it's not called an environment, but it's like it maintains temperature between like minus 30 degrees to plus 50 in Celsius or something like that. So and then you have so I was thinking like, yeah, maybe you need some valves or ventilation and stuff like that for those perhaps that you can seal or something like that. And then I thought the other ones were like they were more environments where you actually had I'm confusing these two. Sorry guys. So this is supposed to be the environment one, because you have battery packs, and it works like the sealable one, but it also have the temperature control. But this one does not have that. It just has this sealable feature. That's what I'm thinking, at least.
They look good, if you ask me.
Thank you, man.
So, let's see. Shadowlegger asks, can you make a piece set between to enable better stacking? It would be possible, but I'd want to test and see how they stack as is first.
Yeah, I mean, the way I'm thinking is that you would, as you have indentations and extrusions on the lid, for example, you would make geometry that fits in the crevices of the lids in some way. It shouldn't be too difficult. I mean, I've started to make different pieces underneath, but these are mostly for support for when you print them. So you could make overlapping patterns as well, I guess, or invert the lids, for example. It could be done, I think. But I think when I looked at the basic ones, you would probably use the corners for stackability, but then you wouldn't have a Lego solution. You more have like a bolt solution. You would have a hole go through here, for example, and then you would bolt it to the one that lines up with it. So it's when it's done originally, it's done in a different way, I think. But yeah, I'm going to try and get these finished kind of soon, I think.
So random.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't look like we're gonna make the cargo today.
Mm.
So it's gonna need a couple.
It should be quite close to finishing, but
The beginning of next week, probably.
Yeah.
Next week we're gonna focus a lot on trying to SLA print the what's it called? The miniatures, the ship miniatures. So that's going to occupy quite a bit of time because we need to actually get those painted. We're getting the painting started next week. Of the things we have remaining, we have the Beta Centauri. That's on me. It's gonna be a while yet. We need some more effective landing gear for the 15mm version.
Oh, yeah,
for those
that's
not
right.
SLA printing. But other than that, the partitions are actually already released. We're going to go over them just shortly, and it's nice to see that Shadow Liger is here because we would not have the amount of files that we have if it wasn't for him. And the partitions and the assorted cargo, those were the last two ones for the actual Type S stretch goals. So now it's just the Beta Centauri. It's just a few more remaining minis. That 15mm landing gear solution, where we just want to do a static version, basically, that'll print a little bit easier. And of course the two Archduke miniatures. But Papsicles is going to be a little bit busy for a while because of the campaign that is done. So that might take a little bit longer than we were hoping, which is why I haven't really brought it up or talked to the Archduke miniatures more than my first approach to them. So, let's see. How wide or tall are they compared to deck plan squares? They do fit into the grid, right? So
yeah, so the resolution, or whatever you would call it, the dimensions are 1 by 1 square. That's the 4D one. So that will be 3 cubic meters, I think. So I don't know.
Yeah, so volume-wise, it would fit into a 2 by 2 by 2 square.
Yeah.
Which
exactly.
is 3 by 3 by 3 meters.
Sorry.
And then, double that and then quadruple that lengthwise, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, you can see the grid there. For some reason, they're not perfectly aligned to the grid. But
yeah, I've been.
But you can see in one direction they are. So yeah, they are definitely designed to fit into the correct volume. So that it's an abstract thing, and this is one of those compromises you have to make. But yeah, I guess anyway, the volume tonnage thing is abstract in any case. So we thought making it fit onto the grid is a higher priority than making it seem like you could fit a volume of cargo within those. Because then you'd have something like, it would be. In Traveller, are cargo containers marked with what's in them? I'm thinking more of the speculative trade categories having a pop in symbol that represents these categories might be neat, but not necessarily at all. So the semiotics do exist, and there might be some for cargo. I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and have a look. But that was one thing also that I think Shadow Liger was asking about. So we'll take a look at that later. Because he was wanting to know if there's support for kit bashing, which is essentially what's happened. So, is there more that you want to show off there, AlBen?
No, I don't know really. Is it? I don't really think so.
We can always go back to it.
There is one thing.
Yes?
I should actually show what's in the box, I guess.
Oh, right, yes. Shall I make your camera bigger? great. I'm completely hidden behind the microphone now. I like this position. Of course, it's not focusing on the right thing. Oh, there's a dead spaceman in there. Nice. I like that it has a satisfying click to it.
Yeah, let's listen to that one.
Gwyneth Paltrow's head? No, it's just a spaceman. Just a spaceman. Alright. Close enough. Well, Albert was asking if we had, because in Starship 5, of course, we did do the stowaway, but we've not actually printed it, so maybe that's on the list of things we should print as well. We do have some miniatures in that. I was hoping to do. So, alright, let's see.
Ooh, yeah.
So, let's move on to partitions. Now, this is what I like to call a mess. And I've turned off a bunch of things in this scene too because I was running it at home and I've only got a 1080 at home. So let's push our 3090 to the limits. It is a bit jumpy, even so.
Push it to the limit.
Maybe I will turn off the screen space ambient occlusion. Or maybe it's everything else. We are running like 2 cameras, 2 microphones, a 3D printer, a bunch of things of it. So the partitions, the idea here was to modularize the interior a little bit more. I will actually need to turn on, let's see, if I move something, we should get shadows turning up. There we go. They don't extend very far though, so... Oh well, in any case. So in the original version of the ship, if we... sorry, there is this part here, we'll get back to that in a sec. If we take off the top hull and the turret, you can kind of see down into the ship, but if we actually look at the partitions, they are in sections. So you've got, you know, this 2x2 room next to the fresher, you've got this one that's next to the life support, then you have these larger rooms, and you know, the common area, and everything's kind of designed to it is modular in a sense, but there are no actual custom pieces for it per se. So the whole point of the partitions is to play with this interior layout quite a lot. Liger got very enthusiastic very quickly with the existing stuff and putting that together with some of our older stuff. I'm going to have to show some of that off in Process Slicer because I haven't imported it all in. One of the changes he made, this is on a slight angle, but is to add in removable hatches. So there isn't a bonus folder on our partitions with those files. These have been made available free. The main difference that we have now is I've just included them along with the stretch goals for ease of access because I think they're great. I have modified these slightly. The only thing I did was the semiotic symbols were mirrored. So here we had, for example, 2 access point ones instead of like the, airlock one, or rather sealed environment sort of airlock symbol. So, and these ones were mirrored. So I've just made it so that they're opposites again, which I think completes it. There is a version available of this that's just a half. I haven't included that here because there were a lot of files, and this will fit on any FTM printer, for example. So, well, not any, but most. Sorry?
Pulsifer says morning.
Oh, good morning. Or afternoon, as the case is here.
Yep.
So yeah, we can see that those partitions had those issues. Now, if you actually take one of these partitions, there are a few issues I feel with this, and the main thing is it assumes you're going to have this wall be parallel to another wall, but this wall is not detailed. But there may be a case where you don't want to have that wall there. So a lot of the partition work that I've done has also been about adding paneling to the opposite side so that if you want a standalone room, you have that as an option. So I've separated the life support, the fresher. You can now have these mirrored, so they're on opposite sides. I believe I even changed the order of the symbols. I didn't change the order on this thing though. And then we have the rooms which have a slight variation on the beds that we did have. So I now have triple bunks, and they're modular. You can kind of see it here. So I guess it's like one drawer each and a locker for one person. So we have we had the single version, right? So this is just an evolution of that, and we also have a double version, which you can see here. So we have quite a few variants of like the placement. We have rooms with a fresher built in, and then we have these bunks, and the idea being that for the most part I've kept the walls modular, and the inserts separate, right? So in this case you would have this insert and the bottom bunk, and then you print out each additional level as its own thing and you just sort of slide it in. The only caveat is I haven't had time to test print these, so I'm going to run some out on the weekend. Hopefully they're not too bad. We also have a kitchenette insert, so you can move the galley a step forward, especially if you want to employ some of the most awesome rooms. Oh, actually, we've got one here.
Speaking of kitchenette,
yeah.
Blasted Camouflage says, "Can we have 2 refreshers? Then we can have a Type S mobile taco truck."
I mean, you definitely can, but you might be sacrificing life support. I don't know if you need that system or not, though. It doesn't sound like it's all that necessary. So yeah, this is one of the rooms where Liger has kit bashed some of our existing like freshers or sort of shower toilet combinations. The idea with these, if I turn off the shadows for a second, is that the toilet would fold up into the wall, right? So it turns into a shower.
When that happens.
So it's not that you sit on the toilet and have a shower, although maybe you want to do that. But it has some built-in furniture in that, and then the beds and that you can play with a bit. So like I said, I don't have everything in the scene, although for some reason I've imported the cargo. Why did I do that? We didn't mention that this smaller cargo, which will fit into the Type S, will also be included with the cargo. So it's a little bit more simplistic, smaller scale. We're probably not going to go into the kind of detail, but really with the larger crates, we just wanted to make something that was going to work later down the line, like when you got the Beowulf, which can definitely take stacks of longer and larger cargo, and not quite make them as plain as what's seen in the illustrations for T5. And then of course we have a bit of older cargo that we had from the Chimera days. Right, so I'm gonna move here. We also are going to go over how the Type P fits together, but I think we'll do that in... How long's that got left? It's like 2 minutes. Yeah, good guess. So I'm going to just empty this, and we're going to add in... let's see, get into the catalog, and... Traveler 1, stretch goals, partitions. Let's start with our basic partition. So this is just the walls. So we've got those variants coming in. So they're all based on the same sort of model. Like I said, I haven't been able to test print these yet. So we'll get to those probably next week, to be honest. So if I take those out, because they're not going to fit on the thing, we can look at the inserts. So we've got a ton of beds and room inserts here, so it'll increase your options. Left and right have been included so that, essentially if you're not someone who knows your way too well around a slicer and doesn't know about mirroring in the X or Y, you don't have to worry about that sort of thing. And then of course we have Shadow Liger's awesome contribution, so we can start with the bulkheads and partitions here. They won't all fit, of course. There's just a few too many here. But there's I've actually included every version, even though the bunks and things, there have been a couple of different demos of them, just because why not? If you guys want one of these particular variants, it's there. And these have been made using assets from some of our previous stuff, particularly the Sleipnir and the Chimera stretch goals. So there's like different variants where essentially you would swap out the whole of that back room. So if I go to the Type S here, let's turn off the upper deck as well. Why is that not in that? Upper deck 4. What? It's saying you're not... I can't select the layers for some reason. I guess they're referenced, but still.
I don't think you can select referenced.
So, in any case, what this would do is
layers.
replace this wall and also these contents. So you would have like your entry here, and then you would have all those bunks, right? So if we're looking back here, there's the door, here's the vault there. But the great thing about the vault is he has these vault bathrooms. So you can either have like a complete bathroom or a sort of fresher combo version, which is over here somewhere. So this is great kit bashing work done by Shadow Lager. I'm very pleased to be able to make this available more widely. It has been available on our Discord. But yeah, I mean, great stuff. And some of this stuff, you could probably kit bash something together yourself if you really wanted to, but why bother when it's already been done for you? It's sort of my thinking. So awesome work, mate, especially with, I know that there's limited tools. The only things I would probably add or change with more time is I would probably just put in the walls on the opposite side. Otherwise I think they're pretty much good to go. But really, some of these are going to be up against the wall anyway, so probably just enough detail that you need. So the variants that are in here as well, it's not just a couple of barracks variants. So maybe I believe there's a force called S4, which is like the secret scout service. So maybe you could have a secret S4 approach to this. Like you can convert some of these commons into a captain's quarters, which has its own little kitchenette. It's like a mini apartment, and then of course you'd just use the vault conversion to have a fresher in there as well. We have a sort of workshop instead. Sorry, no, that's a med bay. No, yes, that's the med bay version. So you have a medical bed, you have some samples, you have a little science station. We have a workshop with its own, sort of like mechanics bay, 3D printer. We always thought that was a funny little addition. And then just going to get rid of a couple more of these so that we can make room. Then of course just a few more variants of the rooms here with the fresher and a little bit more storage than we otherwise had. So in all, yeah, he's been doing it through NetFab and Prusa Slicer, so that sounds painstaking. You were asking about support for that. So way back when, I think I might have to actually go up a level and open my design explorations file. That was a while ago. I'm not going to save in here. Let's have this loading. Let's see, for the crew bunks, version 1 and 2 may have alignment issues with the hull. There you go, guys. You've been warned. I'm just providing them as is. Oh, and by the way, guys, it's already released. If you go into the stretch goals, you can get these downloaded immediately and start printing. We don't have them in Deck Designer yet. I haven't really talked to John about that, how we're going to solve that. I don't think John's on today because he's getting ready to pack. He is having a little bit of a working holiday.
Nice.
But somewhere here, where did it go? Okay, so I've got my semiotic files. Here we go. Group 31. Where is that? And why is that? All parts. It's just freezing while we look at all this stuff. So I do actually have some files where I've gone through and grabbed all of the Traveler sort of like semiotics or the stuff I thought was relevant. And so I do have these in a file, but they're not really, as far as kit bashing goes, it's designed more for using in a 3D program than actually using in Prusa Slicer and NetFab, for example. Like, I would take this and swap them out with the existing ones. So yeah, we did a lot of different of the ones of these in the beginning. Let's see. Well, not really for the Type S. Have you done or considered doing hydroponics bay type area? We did that in the Sleipnir. I can load that in whilst we talk. Open scene. Production. This one is a bit of a mess, but still will take a while to load. So hydroponics we've done, but it's like Rocinante style hydroponics at the moment. Plants are a bit of a pain in the butt to model, and also to print, keeping in mind that we have a tendency to use FDM as our main version or main design philosophy, which is interesting. I have done a few experiments with the Type S miniature, which I was planning to have I thought I was making something that would work, but for SLA drainage and whatnot, but it seems like my understanding of things is that you can't just put drainage holes, drain it at the end of the print. You need to drain as you're printing or something like that.
Sorry, are we talking about SLA?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. That's what some people have been saying on the Discord.
Yeah.
Maybe we can go over to AlBen while I fix this. We can watch him work. We've only got one FDM printer going at the moment because my fuck. My other one's at home and the belt doesn't want to.
It doesn't want a belt.
It doesn't want to calibrate, and it's saying, oh, just move it over a little bit more, and it's like I can't because there is a support there, so not perfect. So what are you up to, AlBen?
Yeah, I'm just checking the geometry for the basic containers. Basically I work in different segments. So I have corner pieces here that you can use for the outer part for a container, and then you can just use middle pieces that are left and right orientated, so you can basically make a container as long as you want it. Just swap out these pieces. So I've been putting together a 2 by what the hell is it? 2 by 12 unit over here, and now I started to wonder if all the pieces are correct. So I'm just going to look through a little bit, because I seem to remember there being a what do you call it? An issue with one of the geometries, basically. So I'm giving it a little bit of a checkup.
Talk to AlBen. Extra funny in Sweden.
Yeah. Ah, look at that. God damn it. The good thing is that I have these wall segments already separated and corrected. I think it's that one. Yeah, so I should just be able to replace these faulty ones with the correct ones instead. And that's kind of the, one of the reasons why I like working with modular geometry, because it enables me to just work on one single piece and update stuff as I go, basically. And I could just probably separate the mesh here, select all of these ones, and then recombine this hideous chink. Let's see now.
Oh, that's much better. Alright. So this little beast is a challenge to get going on the model. I'll try and show you guys what I'm doing now that the ship is finished. So to solve this front bit, I know let's see, maybe I can do something like this. Make myself slightly bigger. So to solve this front bit, I had this insert, like so, which just fits in a split, right? But this had the unfortunate side effect of making the clip hole extremely loose. This is the tight fitting clips. Anyone that's used them knows how tight they are. This thing like isn't even sitting in there, right? So that's why it slightly was flopping down at the front. Now you should be able to see that this, if we look at the profile, it looks as it should look. So all of these wings are actually printed flat and inserted in little holes on the side. So then we have a little hole down the bottom, which we put our stand into. The stands we probably will refine a little bit more. So there you go. I was off slightly by the point, because if I take this nose off, this will sit perfectly like that. But unfortunately, it sort of flops down just a little bit. I am making it a bit deeper too, so it's not going to be as noticeable. And part of the reason that this is doing that is because it's a little bit more room inside than there should be. So there is the Type P Varga Corsair. That sounded like I was trying to say something in a different language, but I was not. You can see it had the little turrets. All of the turrets use this tiny little dot on the bottom, and you just insert filament in it. And filament you can pick up really quick, cheaply. Just buy any kind of sample filament for 1.85 millimeter. Or 1.75 maybe, I can't remember which it is. Wow, we've got lots going on in the chat. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, 2 or more drainage holes, therefore reducing suction during the print and removing liquid resin afterwards. So I was designing something that was meant to sit flat on the plate, I thought, but apparently resin printers aren't as good at dealing with elephant feet as FDM printers are, although it might be slicer settings. And then I sort of, well, I can open up. Oh right, yeah, here's the hydroponics we have. Hey, that was handy. This scene's a total mess, but for some reason it was open to where our hydroponics are. So yeah, we have the expand style ones. That's what we've got at the moment. So if I open my, was it my Type S? God, which one was it? This is the issue now that I've opened so many different files. Let's see. Let's modify these by date, and we should have something like this. Don't save there. Let that open. So I should have in here somewhere. Not that one. Which one is it? Alright, we'll open it in here then. Let's go back to the miniature prototypes, and we should have type S. That's not it. Some kind of resin one. Let's sort by. It is sorted by date. Great. And we want a list. Actually, details there. So it is a type S. These are the new ones. That's the second dynasty one. So it's these two. So what I did was, well, you can see here that I tried to make the inside so that it was going to automatically drain. I'm going to just move these like so, so we can take a better look inside of them. So yeah, it's hard to see in this program, but I kind of made it with the idea that afterwards you can just put it flat down and it will drain out. And I left some, holes in between the clip there to drain. But apparently I need to put some, maybe like in the engines. And yeah, it's this suction issue that we have to worry about. So there are a few places I could potentially add a hole or two. I don't know how severe the issue is, but yeah. My general thinking was just to sort of alleviate some of the issues. I don't want to print it solid. I want to print it as a kind of shell. So you would print it solid, but yeah, it's not taking up too much. So let's see. You need drainage holes in places on the bedside of the print during printing, as you get weird suction forces in the model. Otherwise, when it's hollow, more air holes really. Got a work meeting. Have to have. Oh, sorry, Shadow Lego, missed that. You must be off by now. Weasel Jones says that looks awesome. Thank you, mate. Not sure exactly which part we're talking about, but let's see. I assume you mean bedside with supports lifting it away from the bed. Yeah, Craig, I'm kind of following your design philosophy that it could sit on the bed, and I know that one part of it worked out well because we saw it printed. But yeah, it looks like we need some kind of drainage holes just to relieve the pressure inside of the suction. So yeah, I don't know how much we need though. Let's see. Sinsai says just needs to be a hole of some kind that lines up with the hollow. So are you guys saying that the suction holes just need to not be on the top part? So we could potentially like take, say if there was here there's two round holes, right? We could make those actual holes, right? Would that be enough, having something to relieve the pressure, or would it be a problem because you're still collecting resin inside? Well, actually, you're not, are you? Maybe just a little bit down the bottom, but I don't know. Well, actually, it's dipping all the time, isn't it? This is all new to me, so use bottom layer compensation to remove elephant's feet with resin printing flat to the plate, and to aid removal with a sharp edge. You'll get killer suction with that, yes. Holes in the engines are good. The nose is tricky. Varga Corsair you showed looked awesome. Oh, thank you, Weasel Jones. It works well for me, but use flex plate, which makes removal easy. Do we have a flex plate or something?
No.
Nope. Drainage holes equals battle damage, says that blasted summer flange. You're collecting forward of those holes. Alright, so I mean, there has to be a certain point where tolerances are okay, so maybe we can leave like, I don't know how small these holes have to be either, so there are a couple here that are going to be small enough that if we just open those up, that, because we're talking mostly suction, right, not 2mm plus. Whew, that's quite big. That is quite big. So essentially we're talking about, well, this is essentially 2mm there. So, yeah. Okay. But, I mean, the engine ones make sense, right? You can make those quite large and it's not going to impact anything. Alright, well, you guys know more than me, so I guess we'll be testing this a bit more next week, but we've got a few great tips on what to do. So yeah, we have our. Let's see. I need to turn off everything, but my stomach keeps grumbling. I don't know why. I'm not even hungry. So yeah, to summarize things, we have our miniatures pretty much done now. So this will be the lineup. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ships, in various different types of ship, right? That we're gonna have as our core product. The Sleipnir isn't gonna be there. I was explaining earlier in the show that we are working on. Hang on a second. I just got to ban this person.
Oh.
I don't know how to ban them. Ban. There we go. Alright. So, why can't I get this bloody thing down? I have to click on their name again or something? No! It's taken me away. Anyway, I can still see you guys in the chat there, so... banned in Second Dynasty.
Weasel Jones doesn't want to become famous, it seems.
No.
So the bots are, what do you call it?
Wait, is there
Preaching to the
another
wrong
bloody
crowd.
bot there? Oh, god damn it. I can't seem to figure out how to... Wait, there. Get that one instead. There we go. I don't want any big follows. I just want genuine follows. But now the problem is it's blocking me from seeing the chat. So.
Oh, John is apparently peeking in there. He was rapid fire throwing things into bags so he could see more of the show.
Oh, that's
nice. Awesome.
It's very nice. Okay, maybe if I do this, I click on Weasel Jones instead, and then there we go. Yeah, I got back. I can see you guys. Let's see. John Games, yes. So John, I was explaining what we've been doing with deck design with the experiments, and that this Sleipnir is a result of that, but we're refining things a little bit more. But you can see, like, compared to the really, really shitty version we did, which is so blurry, and no, that's not the camera. This is going to provide a much better option for converting our previous ships. So the idea is these 7 will be the core ships in the next Kickstarter, right? So you'll pay your, I don't know, we haven't figured it out yet, somewhere between 20 or 30 bucks, let's say, and you get those, and the stretch goals we unlock, which will be a bunch of other ships. Everything that's seen in book 2 of T5 we'll definitely be doing, and then Ian has a bunch more, but basically we're going to take advantage of the fact that Ian's got a bunch of art we can use to illustrate stretch goals, and at the same time we'll be offering the Type S again. What I was thinking originally, should we open the stretch goals back up on the Type S? I'm thinking no, not to do that, but to maybe make a larger goal or something like that to provide like the Type J as a variant. Because basically, I think the things that we planned for stretch goals, we pretty much unlocked almost everything except, I want to say, let's see, what else do we have planned? So, the only other thing we were talking about is, actually our next stretch goal for the ship would have been the mining variant at $100,000. So it was a ways off. I think we might have had something slightly different, but that essentially the other ones were going to be much higher ones. Like I had the idea of doing the armored variant. It really is a completely different ship. The Type S that let's see, let's go back to Traveler 1 and go into those stretch goals.
Craig got the meetings, he has to go.
Okay, Craig, thanks for joining, mate. So yeah, we have our Type J sort of under construction. It would be a lot of work but I feel like maybe making it an add-on, like we did with the Beta Centauri, a larger project, right? But something that we can do after the fact is entirely possible, and that would bring you the classic Traveler rear end to the Type S. Would be slightly. It's not really larger. It just takes more advantage of the. It's not really longer per se. It just takes more. It might be slightly longer actually. Maybe it just looks like that compared to this version. In any case, that's what I'm thinking at the moment. Let's see. Slagged up a bit like the BSG Season 4. Don't reopen my Type S. Make this be mini stretch goals with bigger unlock for Type J. Yeah, I think so. I think this should all be about the miniatures, to be honest. But we might do like some miniature variants of the Type S that are based on the stretch goals. We did have like winglets and a snub nose and that sort of thing. I don't know. At 270, you could conceivably switch out some of those things, but not any smaller. So we're doing the 270 version, which means the Type S is essentially about 10 centimeters long. This is Ian's version. The turrets are all interchangeable. So if you really wanted to mount like the Gazelle's nice big cannons on a different ship, you could. Let's see. Stop reading my mind as I am typing. I can't do that. I moved all my meetings to Tuesday just for Ben, actually, because I didn't want to do them on Friday. That makes more sense. I'd rather see a different ship than the Type J, but that's a personal preference. The Blaster Salmon Flange, the point of doing the Type J is it's not a completely new ship. It's the same point as doing the Beta Centauri, right? I have the skeleton ready to go. Now, whether or not we move into Traveler and work with Ian's designs as a base, which might speed things up a bit, I don't know. The other thing we've been talking about is, I know Craig had to leave, but his gig that he did for using Ian's design too, we were happy to bring that to a wider audience so we can make it available commercially, see that he gets, a little bit of ching for that as well. Did AlBen do the turret work? The turret work's done, yes. Or which turrets do you mean, John? So yeah, it's not just a case of adding a new ship. This is a case of, we need to redo 30% of an existing ship. It requires significantly less brain power than starting from scratch and having to like reinterpret everything. So it would essentially just have a different type of turret and a different type of upper hull, and basically this sort of like the belt here and the rear of the ship essentially. So and that would also give Type S owners something that would be closer to the original Type S in shape, right? Because this will have the same sort of angled back. Hang on, the minis. Wait, what? Oh, the turret work on the miniatures. No. That I've just been doing as a part of it. So really, a lot of this stuff we're just able to scale down. AlBen focused on like getting these ones out as well as the T5 turrets. They're nice. You should receive a star sticker on the board for a good behavior. Collect $100 and get a pizza party. 2 slice maximum. Bring your own beer or booze. Well, I get that then. So yeah, I bought a bag and box of low I'm gonna get stuck into tonight. So sorry, AlBen, you didn't make the miniature turrets. I mean, 28mm is still miniature, isn't it? So
it's all about perspective.
It is all about perspective. This time around, we're going to try and make the campaign a little bit more focused on tabletop use as opposed to like a more abstract, hey, look at this cool diorama. So that people, I think people are going to be more interested in having these miniatures. And I mean, Traveler fans, this will be a much easier way into 3D printing. You can do this on FDM. You could potentially just fill a shelf with classic Traveler ships, right? and I think that's going to appeal more widely to people that aren't even currently playing Traveller. Just the ability to, make cool models like this and play with them. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how that all goes. We're going to have to burn the candle at both ends a little bit to get it out on time, but I mean the files are there and it's Kickstarter, so whilst we have the disadvantage of not being able to release files to people until Kickstarter have paid us, that does also buy us a little bit more time to prepare our delivery so that they're top notch. So we're at a point where we could perceivably send out some of those files to people that want to review them ahead of time. So if you think you can print, not necessarily paint, but at least print out the designs and talk about how they printed to time it along with the campaign, which I think we're releasing. My current plan is to launch on Wednesday the 27th of is that right? Yes, Wednesday the 27th of October, because we want to be done in time for Black Friday before people start thinking about Christmas, and that should be on about the 25th. No, 26th it is. So we'll end this basically probably around about the 19th. So it'll be a 3-week campaign. So it's sort of, that tends to be the sweet spot. Things tend to get a little bit more lax in between. So that's the current plan. Let's see. AlBen, please wear teal for the shooting day. Oh yes, I've been told to tell you and Lisa to wear very bright colours.
Oh.
So you guys should go 90s.
Ooh.
Maybe early 90s.
That's scary.
Who wants to see AlBen in some MC Hammer pants? All right. How about get enough star stickers so you get a ticket to see June? Wait, what's this? I like this talk about June. Please go and see it. All right, yeah, because the campaign will be launching.
Ooh.
Oh no, it'll be launching slightly after June launches in the US. So yeah, spend your money for that week going to see June, and then the next week spend it on our campaign. If the stock market doesn't entirely crash, because you guys are about to not have a government being paid their money. So
that's almost like a what do you call it? God damn it.
AlBen's gonna have a think about his sentence before he says it. Alright, let's see. I feel like we're running around in circles here. Agreed, I wonder if licenses such as Starfinder would have made a more larger market for 28mm ships, a more dungeon crawl. I'm sure it would have, and could. Never say never in the future. So I think part of the issue was maybe the platform we launched on as well. So My Mini Factory crowdfunding is quite nascent. Let's run things. We're going to be putting out the Type S in parallel with the Kickstarter version, so it is there in a larger pledge, right? Don't worry if you guys that already have it. You'll just be fine with the base pledge, right? So, hey Obi, hey Don. So yeah, I think we'll leave things there. It's now 4:10 anyway, so we've been rambling for about 70 minutes. That's about a horror film's length of it. So why don't we wrap this up, guys, unless there's any final questions. We are looking forward to getting some of these painted next week. And yeah, really gonna try and get this out so that we have something that people can reserve, fairly early, fairly quickly. So that's it for us, and we will see you guys next Thursday. We're gonna try going on Thursday instead, because AlBen is here on Thursday.
Yes.
So yeah, Thursday at 3, so it's the same time, just a day earlier. We'll see how things go, but we're hoping we're going to be a little higher energy. We'll see.
Hopefully. There was one last question. I didn't hear if you answered it. How many ships is going to be part of the initial base pack?
7.
7.
So it is these 7 here
Hmm.
that will be in the initial version. Oh, and there will be sort of like the tactical scale versions as well. So really, it's 14 miniatures. And yeah, I guess technically we may even have different versions for SLA versions. I'm not entirely sure yet, but yeah. So, we haven't set a price point yet, but you know, with the stretch goals, it's going to be definitely worth it, and we'll probably set the base price so that you know if you bought it without the stretch goals, the price you would pay for all 7 would be reasonable or market rates. You know, so we'll see. Have a great weekend, guys. As Jay says, be well. A good thing. John, thanks for joining us. I know you're about to head off, so enjoy your trip, mate.
Woo!
And we will talk to you guys next week. Bye, guys.
See ya.